Well, it says it's recording. I can simply believe that it is. There's really nothing I can do. Usually I test the audio, test the whatever, but I will have to take it on blind faith that this recording will come out all right. It is a pre-record this evening. I am most sincere regret to those of you who tuned in wishing to see this live. I have a gathering to attend tonight at 7 o'clock, so that will preclude me from doing the usual live show, but wanted to get one in this week anyway, because next week I will most definitely be taking the Friday off from streaming, and then at the end of the month I'll be doing a little traveling, so I'll probably be off that week as well. So there'll be kind of on and off here for the next few weeks. Anyway, what do I got? What is on the dock? What do I usually do while you guys look at the lovely posters behind me? Plug the social media, of course. Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler, and the YouTube, of course, where you can watch the streaming video here at Mike's Golden Streams, or just search whatever, Sacktap Live, Mike Montone. You'll find it. If you want to find it, you'll find it. The podcast available, audio wherever podcasts are available, is the Savage Sacktap. It's just the same show in an audio format. So if you're listening to one and you want to see the other, have at it. Lot of little things going on. Well, I mean, certainly some big things happening locally. I'll get to in a moment. One of them is not funny at all. Some of them are quite funny. But I went out to dinner this past Sunday, because I'll be turning 40 shortly. The celebrations have begun, so went out, got a nice fat steak, and at the end of the night, we were leaving we went to it's a very good steakhouse in Park Ridge. I think it's called The Park. If you're in North Jersey, and you're into steak, I highly recommend checking it out. But it's takes about a half hour, 40 minutes or so to get there. So we're going to the bathroom before we head out, and my girlfriend needed me to assist her in getting out of, because women sometimes they're zipped. So if you're going to the bathroom, you have to get unzipped. It's a whole fucking thing. So it was a single occupancy women's room. So I just went in there with her and unzipped her, and just hung out for a second while she peed. But she had her jacket was also kind of a pain in the, it was a very, I don't know, women, they dress like fucking assholes. They need help putting shit on. So after she finished, we're out in the hallway, and I'm helping her with her jacket, and this guy goes into the men's room, which again, single occupancy. And it's taken us a second to get her jacket over, and she's doing the whole, my bag, checking for everything. So we're kind of lingering there for a little while. And all of a sudden, we just hear the sound of this guy's asshole erupting from the men's room. Remorseless, just no shame, just long, hard, wet blasts. It was one of the great moments of my life. I walked out of the restaurant full, a little bit tipsy, feeling the love of family after a lovely birthday dinner, and just laughing my ass off, thinking about this guy fucking spackling the commode in there. Which is always one of the most fascinating things to me, when people wind up in public situations and they have to like violently shit. Like I listen to a lot of Are You Garbage, and Kippy is always talking about like having to shit in different places. And like I'm a very routine shitter. Like I get up in the morning, I unload a big one. Um, if I'm going into the city for work, sometimes another round will be propelled um, when I get to work. But otherwise, those are my two sort of shitting moments. And then, every once in a while, if I eat a lot, like I'll maybe have to drop one later in the evening. But I can't remember the last time I was in a situation where I was just out and about and I had to shit. And I know it happens, like people get, maybe you get a little sick or something like that, but like just a regular, like, daily movement. That feels like the kind of thing as an adult that you should be like. I can't imagine not wanting to take care of that at my home base, because you want to be. If I'm out and about, I want to be fresh, and there is nothing less fresh than having just taken a shit, no matter how much you wipe, but especially like a public bathroom shit. I feel like you never get to where you want to be after that. So I've always been amazed, especially a restaurant bathroom shit. That's always a good one. In my heavier drinking days, there were certainly times like if I was down the shore in the summer and I had like loaded up on protein and chicken and shit at the house and whatnot, and we were drinking heavily throughout the day, that at some point I might very well have to erupt. Like, I'm not going to tell you that I haven't shit in the porta-johns at DJs in Belmar, but there was also a good chance that some kind of stimulant was involved there, and sometimes those tend to flush you out a little bit, especially since some of them are actually made with laxatives, or at least cut with laxatives. So I understand that, but grown man in a polo shirt and slacks blowing up the bathroom at a steakhouse at 9 o'clock on a Sunday night is certainly a wild, wild scene. And I'm glad I got to witness it. I fucking love that kind of thing. And it gave me a lot to think about. Locally, because of course, I always talk about my commute and etc. and the things that go on the transportation system around here. One of the things I've never really gotten into is, because we're always talking about the homeless and vagrants and weird shit that goes on below ground, and we will get to that in a moment. But one of the things that I've never really discussed is that I live very, a stone's throw from the Hudson River, and we get a lot of helicopter traffic going up and down the river. Like it's actually kind of wild. Like in my neighborhood, you can stand and just look out because I'm in the heights up on a palisade, and you can look out, and across from us is Manhattan. So the view from my neighborhood is actually quite spectacular. It's just all of the big skyscrapers and the Hudson River and all of that. And then right below us is Hoboken. So it's a very, we have like the entire urban jungle kind of splays out in front of us. And it's a great, great view. And part of the view involves, there's a lot of shit flying around. Like there's a lot of helicopters. We get blimps from time to time. Of course, the river, you get these massive cruise ships going out to sea because we're right by the harbor, opens up into the ocean. So it's a very just like a very active area, and it's this, you watch it, and it almost has an air of like, like the cities of the future where there's just like shit zipping around in the sky and all over the place. And it's a very interesting thing to observe. But every once in a while, something does crash. Of course, we had the Sully Sullenberger, the Miracle on the Hudson, where he landed the plane in the river. That obviously went very well. Obviously, with 9/11, did not go quite so well. I can see, literally from my neighborhood, I can see the spot where that happened. Actually, there's a building called the Doric, down the street from the park where I'll work out once in a while. And apparently the Doric is okay. 9/11 conspiracy theorists believe that Mossad agents were watching the entire thing unfold from a room at the Doric. But there are also a lot of helicopter crashes here, and there was one. I guess it must have been yesterday afternoon. I guess it was a tourist helicopter went up, and it was a family from Spain. It was the mother's 40th birthday, coincidentally enough. And I guess one of the kids was turning 8 today or tomorrow or something like that. So they were taking a flight, taking a tour to celebrate. And I'm not going to show the video because it's literally this family's last living moment. And the pilot was a Navy SEAL, and he died as well. But the rotor completely detached, and it just plummeted like a fucking rock into the Hudson River. Like they. I guess the only good thing is that they couldn't have experienced much terror for long or whatever, because a couple 100 feet up, and they just went fucking down. And by the time, the NYPD, I guess their divers got to them first. I think 4 of them were killed on impact, and then 2 later died at the hospital. But just a horrible, horrible thing to unfold. I've been up in helicopters a few times when I was on active duty. There is no reason to go up in a helicopter. Like, if you don't have to go up in a helicopter, don't go up in a fucking helicopter. They are absolute death traps. Yeah, just a terrible, sad, very sad story, but so local. I was watching the local news, and literally I could recognize the gate behind the reporter as being one of the spots that I regularly run through. I've been running a marathon on Sunday down in Jersey City, and I've been training on the waterfront. And I mean, if I had been out for an afternoon run, this would have been like right in my field of vision, because I run up and down that walkway. There's just a huge. That's basically a boardwalk that runs from Bayonne up to it goes up to fucking like Fort Lee, along the Hudson River, and you can run the whole thing. And that's where I train that brutal training mid-February when it's like cold and windy, running up that fucking thing in 30-mile-per-hour winds. It'll fucking get you. Sorry, wish I was out running right now. I went for a jog before, but I just mopped my apartment, and I don't know if I may have used too high a concentration of Fabuloso, whatever they call it. I'm looking for the best possible. I'm very smell sensitive, so I'm looking for like the cleaning product that will make my apartment smell the best. Because what happens is, I live, it's very, the neighbors are kind of right on top of you. So you get, especially with the spring coming soon, whatever they're cooking on either side of me, you wafts in. And, I try to I try to keep my place nice and fresh, but I may have used too much because it is strong, and I can feel it while I'm inhaling. I'm gonna be I'm either going to pass out or I will be high as fuck at the end of this. We'll see. Um, Also, um, in New York City transportation, uh, sicko sought for allegedly abusing corpse on New York City subway. This is the New York Post. I do love that they say sicko. It's such a New York Post term. The unidentified accused necrophiliac is sought for allegedly having sex with a dead man on an R train about 11:45 Tuesday night. Um, and it was in Manhattan. It was at the I guess the Whitehall station in Lower Manhattan. Imagine that. You work on Wall Street or whatever. You go out after a long day at work. You and the guys go out for a few belts. You come back onto the train and you just see a guy fucking a corpse. New York City. Who wouldn't want to live in New York City? Um, I'm very rarely rendered speechless, but banging a corpse on the subway is an odd move. Like, it's one of those, how do you arrive at that point in life? Like, what is the series of events that leads you there? Because I don't think that anyone, I think people may be born a lot of things, but I don't know that anyone is born a subway necrophiliac. So what is the childhood, formative years, young adulthood that gets, because they show the guy who allegedly did it, and he's got his hood up like Luigi Mangione. He's got a circle beard. Um, you know, he just looks like a guy. It looks like just like a regular guy. Like this, he could be at somebody's, again, this is going around social media. Someone somewhere sees this and is like, I think eighth grade homeroom? Like fucking, like that someone knows him. Someone out there. Again, I call these the high school reunion stories because you'll go back to your high school reunion and you don't feel like catching up hearing about someone's kids or their wife or whatever dull fucking job they wound up doing. What you really want to talk about is all the weird shit that's going on with people that you grew up with, and nothing like this one's tough to top. Hey, did you remember Bob from we had a home ec. He sat at the table next to us. He made the duck flambe, whatever. That's a thing, right? Fucking yeah. So anyway, he's wanted for having sex with a corpse on a subway train in New York. Yeah, and investigators do not believe the two knew each other, which really, like, you wonder if, I mean, it's obviously it's or I would think uh, a crime of opportunity, or right? Like, now they're interviewing the guy's brother, and he says that his brother, he's a heroin addict. He was released from prison. He had been locked up for either robbery or assault. And his brother says he hasn't done anything like that in his life. I don't. He's not that type of person. They said he took his thing out and put it in the guy's. They do not elaborate which orifice it is. The family is not happy that he's been accused of this, but I mean, I guess the family the family says they're saying the police need to do a better investigation because my brother is not like that. No matter how bad the heroin addiction is, he's not like that. I mean, yeah, it's odd to think that a heroin addiction would cause you to stick your dick inside of a corpse, but then again, we all saw um, what's what's that movie? They're out on Requiem for a Dream. They're out on Coney Island and ass to ass. Um, so who knows? People do. People will do anything to get a fix. So, I mean, who's to say? But I understand. I understand why the family is angry, but I think you also have to be of the mind that why would the cops make that up? And how would they know? So there has to be a video of him doing it, right? Like, if you're the cops, like, I mean, offer them the opportunity to be like, hey, look, like, I know it's not what you want to hear that your brother or your son is out there doing heroin and fucking dead bodies on the train, but we pulled the surveillance tape, and from what we can see, he is definitely out there doing heroin and fucking dead bodies on the train. Um, yeah, it says around 11:45 p. Wow. So here's the timeline of events. The dead man had boarded the subway around 8 p.m. The suspect got on about 3 hours later, although it's not clear exactly where. Around 11:45 p.m., security footage showed the twisted suspect engaging in sexual acts with the deceased victim. I mean, if they got, let's go to the videotape. He got off the train around 12:08. This says p.m. I'm assuming that's a typo. It should say a.m. Right? He wasn't on the train for 12 hours. But wow, can you imagine? You're just going out. You got to get to wherever, so you figure you're going to take the subway. You get on, and it doesn't even occur to you that in less than 4 hours, there is going to be a heroin addict mouth fucking your dead body. I'm assuming it's mouth fucking. If he pulled this guy's pants down, spread his cheeks, and started pummeling his dead shitter, that would really be something. So I'm assuming he maybe he just thought he was high. He was disoriented. He thought he was, back in college at a frat party, and he just went to teabag the guy, and it's all a big misunderstanding. Certainly that kind of thing happens, does it not? Anyway. Well, if you saw the title of the show, which presumably you have because it's right underneath here, the title Chicken Jockey Freakout. And of course, very often I do just put a title up to try to hit the algo and be a little search engine optimized. But these Chicken Jockey Freakouts are really driving people fucking crazy. And I can't pretend to understand or know what Minecraft is. But for some reason, when this chicken jockey, which it's a baby zombie, rides a chicken into a fight against Jason Momoa, Jack Black announces Chicken Jockey, and when he does, the theater it erupts. It goes wild. So I'm looking at U.S. The Today Show has an article. It says, in the game, the chicken jockey is a rare occurrence of a type of baby zombie spawning in a Minecraft world where the baby zombie rides astride a chicken and becomes a speedy and dangerous foe. In the movie and trailer, Momoa's character, Garrett, is forced to fight against an unassuming foe, a chicken. A crate hangs above the chicken and drops a baby zombie onto the chicken's back. Hence, as Steve, I guess, Jack Black exclaims, Chicken Jockey. And at that moment, the theater just goes crazy. Now, the article says, why is the internet obsessed with Chicken Jockey? But it's all that they say is that it was just in the trailer. Like they just mention, they're like, oh yeah, it's in the trailer. But I still don't understand what I'm trying to figure out, because they go crazy. They throw popcorn. Some kids brought chicken, an actual live chicken into the theater. But what I'm trying to glean, and that I truly don't understand, is what is it about the chicken jockey, or any of this that prompts this excited reaction? Because when I was growing up, and I've mentioned this on other programs, let's just say it was commonplace if you were in middle school and you were going to the movies by yourself for the first time, that you and your friends would like throw candy and shit at people. Right, you sit in the back, and if the movie sucks, you start pelting the silhouetted heads 10 rows in front of you with candy, and then you wait for them to turn around, and you just pretend you do the old. Well, that I was trying to make it look like I was drinking soda. That made it look like I was doing something else, which might also happen to you at a theater if you go with the right person. But no, in middle school, I was just there to throw candy and sip soda. I remember it was during like The Matrix 2 or something like that, or The Matrix. It's some movie that I know everyone loves The Matrix, but like I'm just not into that kind of shit. And especially at, in middle school or like early high school, whatever age I was when that came out, like I was in prime throwing shit years. So I was definitely throwing shit at The Matrix. And if I don't know, I don't think I saw the second one. I think I got so bored during the first one that I didn't go to the second one. But in any case, these kids are going crazy. The cops are being called. There are other lines. Flint and steel, the nether, the villagers, and crushing loaf. I don't know. I have no interest in this. I didn't play Minecraft. I just put it in this episode to, trigger the algo a little bit. Figure people are searching for Chicken Jockey Freakouts, get it up there in the title, and they'll maybe click. But I don't know. It's the funniest thing in the world that you have all of these adults though that are furious about this, and this has got to stop. This is not how you behave in a movie theater. I think this is specifically how you behave if you go see Minecraft. Like I almost I almost want to go to witness the Freakout, but also fucking large groups of kids that age are so fucking annoying, which is like, it's also when you think about people like that, uh the Nickelodeon documentary or whatever it was, Drake Bell or whatever, he was being interviewed by Adam Carolla a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about being as a teenager being groomed and molested by, like, how old is he? Maybe not a teenager, but like a preteen or whatever, being groomed and molested by like his acting coach or some shit. And I remember thinking, like, there must be, like, beyond the fact that you're obviously doing something horrible by banging a kid, what is wrong with you that you even want to hang out with somebody else's, like, just the mere spending of that time seems like it would totally suck, right? Like, it doesn't seem, I think that's the biggest tell with stuff like the Boy Scouts and whatnot, is that being like a scoutmaster is something you absolutely should not want to do. Like, you shouldn't want to go on those trips. The idea of going into the woods with a bunch of adolescent boys, or like spending all this time doing projects with adolescent boys, is it should weird you out. Like, I I understand, coaching, if if you're assigned community service, or if you've got like a son or a nephew or some shit on the team, or like, whatever, like, you know, if you're that sometimes in a town they're like a former pro or something like that who will be involved in like the local youth program, shit like that, I understand. But otherwise, you know, who who wants to hang out with 12-year-old boys? That doesn't that you shouldn't even leave your kid with someone like that under any circumstances if you find out that the guy is volunteering for it, because they're immediately suspect. So, which is to say, like, who is going to see this movie that's so bothered by the behavior in the theater? Like, you just wouldn't, like, who is, the movie's clearly not for you. Why would you be in that theater? Other than like it is, maybe it's like a child, like a child molester who goes, he goes to these movies to, like, scout fresh victims, and he's getting annoyed that it's all rowdy. He can't take, or maybe it's some groomer who brought his boy toy with him, and he's trying to, like, get in the mood and, like, get his arm around the kid, and the kid keeps jumping up and throwing popcorn and shit, and, like, the guy sees everyone filming, and he's, like, worried that someone's gonna see him. He's fucking tucking away, and he's the one who's, like, getting out there in front of, like, this is ridiculous that we're allowing this kind of behavior. They shouldn't be allowed in the theater without an adult who can hold a hand on their thigh and keep them firmly pinned into their seat. Um, if it was just me and the boy in that theater, that popcorn wouldn't be going anywhere. That bucket would be firmly planted to my lap, and there would be a hole in the bottom. Yeah, what's going on here? Let the kids trash the theaters, because they just they go through afterwards with, like, I'm assuming it's just like a big shop vac or something like that, and clean it all up. I mean, it can't be any worse than working at a theater in, like, Harlem or some shit, right? Anyway, Chicken Jockey. This is running low on H2O here. I might have to wrap it up sooner than I wanted. Mickey Rourke apologizes to JoJo Siwa for homophobic slur on Celebrity Big Brother. I hope they have the exchange in this article, because I was reading about it. Oh yeah. This is the line that I absolutely loved. So Mickey Rourke, of course, he was in The Wrestler and like Pope of Greenwich Village and all that. Um, and JoJo Siwa is she was on like one of those old Disney shows. Or something. She sucks. She sucks is the only way to describe her. She's very annoying. She's always kind of being an outspoken ass about things. So, and she is, I guess, she's either a lesbian or she's like, Chapel Roan. She's doing it for the attention. But in any case, she's very vocal about being a lesbian. I don't know if these kids realize that they're, when they announce that they're gay in the year 2025 or non-binary, it's not, you missed the window where anyone thought that that was unique and interesting. It's like, if you came out as gay in like 2008, very rebellious and unique and sort of an edge of danger or whatever. Now they're like gay guys pushing, strollers through the park. It's like, all right, it's two guys who are like effeminate. They're in good shape. They dress well, and they, one of the feminine one's probably kind of annoying. If you were a trans woman in 2012 or 2013 or whatever, it was like a very sort of shocking thing, like, oh my God, and she has a penis. But now it's like they're a dime a dozen out there. Like you almost have to go out to the club. You got to kind of inspect and make sure you're not getting fucking tricked by well contoured makeup and a push-up bra. But these things they're not interesting. They're not unique. If you're a celebrity and you're gay these days, I think everyone says, oh yeah, we just assumed you all were. So JoJo Siwa tying her identity to her sexuality is just not the most interesting thing. But I guess tensions brewed in the first episodes between Rourke 72 and Siwa 21, who accused the actor of being homophobic for various comments he made about her, including saying he was going to vote the lesbian out real quick, according to a transcript obtained by BBC, which I love. Like, you love the 72-year-old man and like the annoying Hollywood lesbian. Like, and then it's not because she likes pussy. It's because she has tried to turn this into a personality trait, which it really isn't. You love the idea of him just fucking shitting in her cornflakes. And then later, the Sin City actor asked the Dance Mom alum if she liked boys or girls. Siwa said she liked girls before clarifying that her partner is non-binary. Rourke responded, "If I stay longer than 4 days, you won't be gay anymore," which again is just such an incredible such an incredible just old man insult, like a bunch of guys hanging around the fucking water cooler or the fax machine at an old office, and like it's like the first time they've seen a lesbian, and she comes in and like she's kind of fit, but she's got like a bob haircut and she's wearing a pantsuit, and one of the guys says something like that, "Hey, give me a night with her and she won't be gay anymore," and they all pat him on the back, and then they go off to a 2-martini lunch to celebrate being men. Later in the episode, he used the British slang word for cigarette, the same word used as a homophobic slur, and told Siwa, "I'm not talking to you." Former British Love Island star Chris Hughes told Rourke he couldn't say that, to which the Oscar nominee replied, "I know, I was talking about a cigarette." Like, yeah, I love he's just being a toxic asshole and shitting all over like this deeply held weirdo Gen Z fucking, because it was millennials who really, millennials and Gen Xers are really the ones who carried the torch on gender. Gen Z is doing it very performatively. Millennials and Gen X were like the, the pride flag waving, like fucking LGBTQ fucking sweaty, drug fueled fuckfest generation. Like Generation X, those were the fucking New York City club kids who were doing fucking lines of cocaine off of erect penises at Limelight. Like that was risky fucking out there LGBTQ behavior. Fucking Jojo Siwa and company are, they make TikToks declaring themselves to be, non-binary or fucking fluid or whatever, and they throw on a blue wig and a septum piercing, and they think that they're fucking, they think that they're Johnny fucking badass. It was a very bad Tony Soprano. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit parched. And like I said, the air is thick with Fabuloso right now. I do have to wrap it up in a minute. I shit on Gen Z a lot, but shout out to Gen Z. Gen Z coffee lovers discover new way to combat insane Java prices with new home cafe trend. It's out with overpriced oat milk lattes and in with DIY coffee culture. Gen Z TikTokers are ditching the expensive morning coffee runs and transforming their kitchens into cozy custom coffee shops, complete with menus, pastries, and even barista uniforms in an effort to save money. So I guess the Gen Z kids are doing, they're turning their apartments into coffee shops. And as this one says, in 2025, we'll be saving money as she and a friend staged a cafe night in, complete with laptops, snacks, and the ambiance of a coffee house, minus the markup. So I guess they're having, like coffee parties. They're setting up like little Starbuckses in their home. They're branding it. They're putting signs up. There's two very, very fruity, burly, hairy gentlemen, and they're serving coffee and bran muffins and such to their friends. And of course, you remember the millennials, my generation. We were constantly being told, hey, look, you want to buy a house, you got to stop buying avocado toast. You're going out to brunch too much. So there is a little bit of truth to that we were very much the brunch generation. You're going out for all these Starbucks lattes. Why don't you make your coffee at home, save some money? And I'm an at-home coffee guy. And now Gen Z is doing it for real. Although it makes you wonder if they took it too far, because one of the things about a coffee shop is like Starbucks. One of the things that made them fall out of favor was the bathrooms were always such a disaster. These people are opening this up in their homes. Coffee is a very fecal product. If we're talking about things like bran muffins, any kind of high caffeine, there's a lot of dairy. It's gonna be a lot of. This is a high gas environment, and Starbucks could barely handle this. It makes you wonder if you, as just like some chick in your 20s, is really equipped to have. And I know it sounds romantic. It feels like you're watching, that retro culture is very in. They go back, they watch episodes of Friends. They think that it's cool. These guys all love coffee. They're hanging out in each other's apartments. But you get enough people in a room drinking coffee, and at least a couple of them are going to have to shit. Everyone's going to have to urinate. That's a lot to put your bathroom through. And I know you have a party or something. It's the same thing. But again, we talked about before. People usually don't go out to a party anticipating shitting. And if you're drinking like hard liquor cocktails, finger foods, whatever, odds on you shitting aren't pretty big. We shift that over to hot coffee and bran muffins. And all of a sudden, the likelihood of more than one person having to defecate in your home increases exponentially. And then, of course, there's the possibility that your place really turns into a Starbucks and like homeless guys start showing up and shooting up and masturbating in your bathroom. You go in, you find one who's just got like got two garbage bags. One's filled with cans, the other one's filled with rags. And he's just got them there, and he's on your shitter with an erection doing a Sudoku. So that is the risk you run, I guess. But hey, you got to save up for that down payment, right? Anyway. All right. Well, I am going to wrap things up. As I said, I do have a gathering to attend. I realize it's a tad shorter than we usually go, but with no audience to interact with, I'm pretty useless. So we'll close it off here. Next week, probably taking off. Just because I have the marathon on Sunday, and then I got just need a little chill time. I would like a week without too much shit to do. For being honest, it was an exhausting winter. So Mikey needs to take a week. Anyway, Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moiler, YouTube at Mike's Golden Streams. Just search for Mike Montone Sacktap Live. Have a great weekend, and I will catch you guys in a couple weeks. Adios, mother.